Kamakshi, like I was saying, PVR is what we're keeping an eye out on. The numbers were just announced a short while ago. How are they looking like this time?
Well, absolutely. When the numbers look good as far as analyst expectations are concerned. When we look at the revenue that came in at 1,469 crores, up almost 23%. Margins have also improved substantially by 600 basis points, and the losses have narrowed for the company. We're now being joined by Mr. Ajay Bijli, who's the managing director, as well as Gaurav Sharma, who's the chief financial officer. They will be taking us through the quarterly numbers. Well, good afternoon to you, gentlemen. Mr. Bijli, let me first start with you then. It's been a phenomenal quarter so far. It has exceeded what the analysts were expecting. How has the company performed in terms of your own expectations? And given the kind of lineup we have, as well as the early numbers for Saiyaara, etc., how do you believe the rest of the year will pan out?
Well, thank you, first of all. We've always been believing in this segment of entertainment, which is out-of-home entertainment in a country like India. And I still believe that we are like an infrastructure of leisure and entertainment outside of home, like hospitality is, restaurants are, and people will always come out and watch movies and also have a lot of faith in the film fraternity. You can have our ebbs and flows, but at the same time, they do bounce back. And that got demonstrated the moment this year started, where a lot of films were appreciated by the audiences and they came out. Despite having all sorts of entertainment options at home, they still came to see. And I think it started with Kesari 2, then Jaat came, then Aamir's film Sitare Zameen Par came. So Bollywood bounced back. You had smaller movies, like Bhul Chuk Maaf. Even Sitare wasn't a big movie. It had Aamir, of course, but it's not a big budget blockbuster. So I think that's what I found very heartening this quarter, that it didn't have to be a big blockbuster for people to come out and watch on the big screen. Even small budget movies, medium budget movies came out. Hollywood has bounced back after all that happened because there's strike. Suddenly you had F1, you had Superman, Jurassic Park, is in this month.
Yes.
But various movies, How to Train a Dragon, and so many films that came. So both have had a great run and have brought people back to the cinema. So I'm quite happy people are coming out and watching movies.
Absolutely. People are coming out and watching movies. But Mr. Bijli, afternoon. This is Vinny joining the conversation as well. Gaurav, afternoon to you as well. What I want to know now is Q2 and FY26. How are you seeing that shape up, Mr. Bijli? And average ticket prices, that's seen a bit of an increase on a year-on-year basis. Sequentially, muted. So what are we expecting there? Saiyaara, how had that done? And did that lead to an increase in average ticket prices as well?
Well, when we talk about Saiyaara, then we'll get into July, quarter 2. But of course, I can give you a peek into it. Everybody knows that it's a sleeper hit. And that's what I really find it fascinating about our business, that suddenly, maybe a big movie with high expectation may not do as well as you expect it to. But then because there is such quantity of movies which comes out every week, almost 6 to 7 weeks across the entire country, that you suddenly have a sleeper hit. And Saiyaara is one such example, which has done exceedingly well. And of course, when the movie does well, then, in retrospective, everybody says, okay, the story was good, the music was good. But this is the beauty of our business. And of course, ATP, SPH, everything then follows suit, advertising revenues. If a movie does well, then all three revenue lines, they all strike. So it's very heartening.
Absolutely, Mr. Bijli. But Gaurav, I'd like to ask you, if you can help us understand where the kind of, revenue growth, it's a fabulous revenue growth that you've posted this time around. Where is it coming from? Of course, we have the ad spend picking up, the F&B, spends per head have gone up. So, if you could just explain to us, how much was the contribution for, some alternative screenings like IPL? You also had re-releases. So, if you can just break up your revenue in terms of that.
Sure. See, I think our revenues that you've seen 23% year-on-year growth is driven by all the key business segments, starting with box office, which has grown by almost 22%. Overall admissions in our business have grown by 12%, along with the growth in average ticket price of 8%. F&B, which is the other big vertical in our business, has grown by almost 23%, again, The spending on F&B by consumers at the cinemas has, almost grown by 10%. We have seen the highest F&B spend per head ever recorded in the quarter one. Advertisement revenue, which is the third big engine in our cinema, in our business, has grown at an impressive 17%. So yeah, I think all the business segments are firing. Content across languages, Hindi, regional, Hollywood is doing well. And that's something which is fueling this growth. Alternative content is something which we are very focused on to kind of take care of any gaps and, any shortfall in footfalls. And their, re-releases is something which we are focusing. And that will continue to add footfalls as we, increase more number of films in the re-release slate.
All right. And what have the occupancy levels been at then? Because your number of admits saw a very good increase. So the occupancy levels roughly, where is it at? And when do you get to the 31% mark?
It's hard for us to guide any occupancy numbers where we will be, because it's a function of how the films perform, and it's very difficult to judge. Sometimes, movies which we don't expect will make it big, actually turn out to be sleeper hits. So in quarter one, our occupancy was 22%. And, this is just the start of the year. July has been, in fact, the biggest month for us over the last 1.5 years. And the momentum is very strong across all languages. All sort of movies, big, small, Hindi, regional, Hollywood are doing well. August again is lined up with big blockbusters during Independence Day. And there are big franchise films from Hollywood right up till March. So we feel that FY26 is going to be very promising. We are pretty hopeful that this will be one of the best years post-pandemic for us. In terms of percentage on occupancy will be a function of how these films perform at the box office.
If I can just jump in, we look at as an important KPI, the number of people coming is more important to us because occupancies can get impacted by the length of the movie and the shows that we put in, because we have an installed capacity of over 360,000 seats. Now that can get multiplied by 5 shows, 6 shows. Some of the religious movie just now is playing, and that is at 7 o'clock in the morning the shows start at times. So your installed capacity is a function of how many shows you show and the length of the movie. So that's why 3.4 crores people or 34 million people which have come to our cinemas is a very healthy sign rather than the percentage occupancy. Narsama is the movie, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mr. Vijay, just a word in terms of the recent announcement that came in, right? In terms of the price cap in Karnataka. Any update that you could give us on that front? Or, what are you watching out for from the government? And also part 2, I wanted to know the FOCO model as well. Currently, how many screens are you planning to add in that model versus, your previous model?
So let me answer the second question first, because that is more fresh in my mind. So we've just opened 20 screens only so far, out of which 14 are FOCO model. And we've already signed about 120 odd screens, which are going to be on asset light and FOCO model. And that just basically is taking a leaf out of the hospitality industry, where most of the hotel companies, basically sweat the brand rather than sweating the asset. And we are very, heartened to see that most of the developers, they want a PVR or they want an INOX in their malls, and therefore they are ready to contribute capital, and that reduces our pressure of capital deployment as well. And yet we don't compromise on our screen count. So we've already opened 20 screens in the first quarter, already about 4 screens this quarter, another 25 or 27 will open this quarter. And on track to open about 100 screens this year as well, on a mix of some in the old lease model, but about maybe 60% or 70% on the FOCO asset light model.
And on the Karnataka cap, sir?
Yeah, Karnataka, basically a notification was issued where they asked for, objections and feedback from all the stakeholders, whether it's the producers, whether it's the customers, distributors, and also mall operators, retail players. So that about 700 odd objections have already gone to the government, and we're still awaiting from them what their response is going to be. A few years ago, something like this had already happened, And typically, I don't want to preempt it, but some kind of compromises is sort of reached with the government. So at the moment, it's too early to comment because we really haven't heard back from the state government about what the response to the feedback is going to be. But obviously, the industry is not comfortable with the kind of thing that is being proposed by the government.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us this afternoon and explaining us what we could be watching out for the company in FY26. A lot of movie releases. Everyone's going to be watching that, hoping that 33% occupancy, right? That's what we reach by FY26. Hope that is what we are waiting and watching out for. Thank you so much, Mr. Bijli, as well as Mr. Sharma, for joining in with us.